I think there's a better way to do things, whether it's more efficiently with, expending fewer resources or, more effectively, like with better results. And so, everything I've started over the last couple of years, I realize that now it's stemming from that same principle.
Welcome to Get Unstuck and On Target, the weekly podcast that offers senior leaders insights and strategies to not only lead with confidence and vision, but also to achieve groundbreaking results. I'm your host, Mike O'Neill. I coach top-level executives on the power of ethical leadership to forge teams to be as united as they are effective. In each episode, join me for insightful conversations with leaders just like you, providing practical advice to help you get unstuck and propel you and your company forward. Let's get started. Joining me is Shafqat Huq. He's a serial entrepreneur with a passion for creating innovative solutions that have a tangible impact on people's lives. He has successfully launched several businesses, now including Kaz Consulting, Lead Buddy, and Go Task Free. I have firsthand experience with two of Shaf's businesses and have seen how incredibly impactful they have been on my own efficiency and productivity. And it's for those reasons, plus, that you will find that Shaf is going to be a perfect podcast guest. Welcome, Shaf.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
You allow me to check more than one box as to what would be an ideal guest. One, the fact that not only you are an entrepreneur, but two, you're a serial entrepreneur. And in the last 15 plus years, my appreciation for what it takes to be an entrepreneur has grown exponentially. Shaf, I think I came out of a corporate HR role and I went to work for small companies that kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And the bigger we got, the less entrepreneurial we felt. So I'm looking forward to having this conversation to not only speak a little bit about the journey that you are currently on, but because I have some firsthand experience using your services, I can ask questions that hopefully would speak to at least what my experience has been. Shaf, I was intrigued by the name of the first company, and it's spelled CAAZ Consulting. What's the significance of CAAZ?
So Kaz Consulting is my consulting firm that I created with two business partners who also happen to be my cousins. And we were going through trying to come up with a name, and I thought about the two places that we're from. All three of us have either lived in or we're going to school in California and Arizona. And so it just seemed like an easy way to kind of combine the abbreviations for those two states and symbolize where we're from and, the general background that we come from. So,
got you. Tell us a little about what does this consulting firm do for clients?
Yeah, so it's kind of evolved over time. Originally, it started as a software development agency. My cousin and I, we went through individual journeys as founders coming up with our own mobile app startups. And we realized as founders that there aren't a lot of resources for people that might have an app idea or something that they want to build, but don't really have a developer team or just know-how in terms of how to build a business around it. And so it originally started as software development. And from there, we kind of evolved into building websites, web applications, doing digital marketing for clients. And now everything is very broad, and we provide general consulting towards businesses and startups that are looking to grow.
I mentioned that I have worked with you while you wore at least the founder hat for two of those businesses. The next one would be Lead Buddy. Tell us about Lead Buddy. What does it do?
Yeah. So Lead Buddy is built on the Go High Level platform, or High Level as people know it. It is a marketing automation and CRM tool. And really, it's just leveraging the features and power of that platform. And we've done a really great job of building out infrastructure around that to really deliver the most value possible. And that includes, 24/7 live chat support. We have a lot of support calls on which our clients jump on. So we're able to implement the software to a particular business so that they're able to get the best impact and value for their business.
There's somewhat of a progression to where we're going to be having this conversation. I want to go back through each of these in turn, but the third one is Go Task Free. What is that? So
that Go Task Free is a virtual assistant agency that I started with one of my partners from Kaz Consulting, who's my cousin. We partnered with a mortgage broker down in Florida and her virtual assistant out in the Philippines. So we realized that, we have someone on the ground in the Philippines that can kind of vet through the talent there and find us really qualified candidates that had been working with American, Canadian, and other Western clients, and make sure that we're screening the candidates accordingly so that we can find people that are capable of working and delivering work to the standards that our clients expect. And so, we also have team members in Bangladesh for accounting work, bookkeeping, other admin related tasks. So it's pretty broad in terms of the tasks that we can cover. It's anything from email outreach, answering phone calls, customer support, data entry, social media content planning, building funnels on the high level platform. And so that kind of just completes the triangle of service offerings that I put together under the Kaz umbrella.
It was that triangle that kind of caught my attention, and that is you have added services oftentimes to be even a broader provider to existing clients. I think the way I listed those, is that the way that these kind of came online in that sequence?
Yes. So Kaz definitely came first. And, we were building websites, we were doing paid ads to help generate leads for businesses. But what we found was that there wasn't a platform or CRM where these leads could be tracked, or we could nurture these leads effectively, or just reach out to our database organically through social media or email outreach. So that's where Lead Buddy came into play, where you could do all of these things in one place. And then we found that even if we have this platform in place, a lot of times it's overwhelming to manage all this on your own, especially if you're a solopreneur. And so that's where the virtual assistant kind of came into play, where if we can put this offer together where we'll drive leads for your business, have a system or the software that'll actually automate the outreach and nurture them until they become a paying client, as well as putting in a virtual assistant to kind of run all of this and allow the business owner to kind of take a step back and focus on other things that matter to them. That's kind of the ideal offer that we can put together for them.
I described you as a serial entrepreneur. And when you're talking to folks who are not familiar with that term, what does that mean to you?
I think it means that I have failed a lot. I've had many failed ventures that didn't really pan out, but it yielded a lot of lessons that I've been able to then apply to my subsequent endeavors. And yeah, so I mean, I feel like I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. It started in high school when I found a wholesale license for American Apparel sweaters that everyone at my high school was buying for $42. I was able to get them at $15 a piece. I kind of got a wholesale license, took orders, and I think I sold them for $25 or $30. So I was able to get everyone a heavy discount on the product. I was also able to make a margin, and then I used those funds to pay for soccer, to pay for prom, stuff like that. So it kind of started at that, and then it expanded to college. I think I was tutoring people, and I took a job in finance out of college, and didn't really like the corporate system and ladder and the limitations that it came with. And so that kind of led me to starting my first venture out of college, which was Fest Friends, which is a mobile app marketplace for music festival tickets. So for events like Coachella, Lollapalooza, Ultra, if you're familiar with any of these, they're really large music festivals that sell out very quickly. And that creates a secondary marketplace where people will sell their tickets on Facebook, Reddit, OfferUp, Craigslist. And because these tickets are physical and like they're a wristband ticket for multi-day entry, you have to exchange it physically. So you have to meet up with someone in person to give them money and then take the wristband. And that was causing a lot of issues in terms of people getting scammed, people selling fake tickets, or just getting themselves into unsafe situations. And so we created a marketplace that you log into. You use your mobile app to place offers to buy or sell a ticket. We would collect the ticket from the seller physically. They'd mail it to us. We would collect the payment from the buyer, and then we would authenticate the ticket, make sure it was legitimate, and then hand it off to the buyer and release the money to the seller. So we kind of acted as an authenticating party or escrow service for these wristband tickets.
You mentioned that you have started and failed, and learned lessons along the way. For those who are watching or listening who have an idea in their mind, what is it you would advise people about starting something that you wish you knew then?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things that I'd say. First of all, I think people are kind of fixated on this idea that, they can't really start just yet. They need to do this, and this before they can really start on this, or they need to be working and making healthy income first, and then get to a certain point where they can down the road maybe put time towards this. My advice would just be to just start in some way, even if it's super scrappy or our app idea started originally with a form on Google, like a Google form saying, I have this ticket that I'm willing to sell. I'm willing to accept this price, or, I want to buy a ticket. I want to pay this much. And so I took those spreadsheet responses and it was manually matchmaking people. And then they kind of iterated into a website where people could list their tickets. And then it turned into a mobile app. So rather than just focusing on, I need this, and this to get started, I think if you just build the plane while you're flying it, I think that's a better way to go. And then the second thing is, people get fixated with the idea of perfection, that, okay, I need it to look perfect. I need it to work perfectly before I launch it. And founders are often guilty of being fixated with perfection. You're never going to have a perfect product. You're going to constantly have to iterate and improve it. So you may as well just put it out there as early as possible and start getting feedback and then improve on that.
We've talked about 3 of your ventures and how they are complementary and how they kind of came online as a natural progression. But one of the things that I imagine you might be challenged at, you're a founder, or a co-founder of each of these ventures. How do you stay such that you don't get so sucked in to the everyday of these businesses that you just don't have anything left for what's next?
Right. So I think that's where the ability to delegate and be able to trust other people to deliver on tasks. Like, you don't need to take on the burden all yourself. And I think that's part of the reason why I created a virtual assistant agency, was to be able to allow people to outsource or delegate certain things that can be that can be passed off to someone else. So that's kind of how I've learned to deal with that process.
You used the word founders a few minutes ago, and that is, it's their baby, if I could use that term. And it's been your observation, founders oftentimes struggle with kind of letting go. What are the types of tasks that founders can successfully let go, that when they do so, they realize, I should have done this a long time ago?
I think anything that is replicable or repeatable. If you have the same routine process, let's say anytime a new lead comes into your website, you have the same process where you're sending out an email, or you're giving them a phone call, or you're giving them a call, and you have the same conversation. Anything that is replicable, that can be passed off. Anything that doesn't require your exact, whether it's personality or anything that's unique to you specifically, I think it's better off to outsource that. if there's certain like technical expertise that you have that you need to, like obviously for a lawyer, I wouldn't say pass off, writing your contracts and stuff like that. But if there are certain steps that aren't super technical or don't really require you individually, then it's worth considering to delegate that to someone else.
I'm working my way kind of down this list here a little bit. Lead Buddy. I'm a customer. I'm learning Lead Buddy. I know Lead Buddy is your brand for high level. For those who don't know what we're talking about, can you kind of explain what that is, please?
Yes. So, as I mentioned, Lead Buddy is our white labeled version of high level. It's, I think, the most versatile and robust marketing software out there right now. With one tool, you have the ability to, build a entire website. You can build landing pages or funnels for very specific things. Like if you want to drive webinar registrations, have ebook downloads, like give away different free assets. You can sync your calendar and use it to book appointments. You can send out invoices and collect payments, send out documents for signature. There is a social media planner where you can draft content with AI and then schedule it out on all of the different social media channels at a specific date and time. There is an email and SMS marketing tool, so you can send out email newsletters or SMS offers to your audience. You can build online courses. So if you want to productize your expertise and sell it as a digital asset rather than trading your time for money, it's great for that. If you want to build an online community, you can build that so that it's a group or a community that's not hosted on another platform like Facebook. You can actually control it yourself. You can have your own domain, like you could do groups.mikeoneil.com or whatever your business brand is, so that it's the access to it is controlled by you, not Facebook. And then you can also manage your online reputation. So, getting reviews on Google, which is absolutely paramount to any business success or having any sort of visibility online. You can do that from the platform as well.
Very, very cool. As I've gotten to know you in this time, what I see is the wheels are always spinning. And that is, you're looking for ways to better serve clients. At what point do you feel that you have to kind of put the clutch in and not go add yet one more thing? Does that question make sense?
Yes, it absolutely does. And I've gone through some, internal processing of, okay, am I spreading myself too thin? What is a good balance of having things that I'm involved in, passionate about, and I'm still being able to, serve them and provide value to them? And I think I've got a good balance of things right now between Kaz, Lead Buddy, and Go Task Free.
You've been doing this for a while. As you step back and kind of look at where perhaps you or a client got stuck, can you share an example of what happened and what did it take to get unstuck?
Yes. So one example that I can think of off the top of my head was when I was building the mobile app that I mentioned, Fast Friends. We were using a team overseas in Bangladesh. And, obviously being located in the US and having a team, almost 8,000, 10,000 miles away, is very difficult to have a, visibility into what they're doing. I'm not there physically in the office to monitor them and see how things are going. And we were, the first team that we worked with, it was a referral from a family friend of mine. I went forward with them without too many questions and learned later on that was a mistake. We were very frustrated with the slow progress and the lack of response that we were getting. And so we felt stuck for multiple reasons. One, there was a global pandemic that was putting the entire music festival industry at a halt. And we were dealing with this team that was not providing any sort of help or value. And so the solution that we ended up coming to was I actually had to fly out there. This is after travel restrictions started to ease up. I actually had to fly out to Bangladesh and met with about a dozen different teams to find an alternative team to take over the project. And so I met with, multiple teams, started filtering it down to ones that I kind of had a good feeling or I felt would be able to deliver the level of quality that we wanted. And then finally ended up choosing one. And that's the team that we are now that is now our preferred developer team now. And we've been working with them for almost 3 years now.
Regular listeners know this is a totally unscripted conversation. You may have been prepared for me to ask a question that I haven't asked yet. What might be something that you'd want to share that I haven't broached on that you think would be important for folks to hear?
So, I think everything that I do now kind of stems from the idea that I think there's a better way to do things, whether it's more efficiently with, expending fewer resources, or, more effectively, like with better results. And so, everything I've started over the last couple of years, I realize that now it's kind of stemming from that same principle. And I always encourage people that if you feel like there is something that you're meant to do, like start a business in something that you're passionate about, and you feel like that will kind of allow you to feel more fulfilled, I'd say go for it. And there's resources. I try to be as accessible as I can to people that are in this kind of mindset that want to build something of their own. And help however I can. So if you're in that kind of a situation and you have an idea, or if you want to explore the idea of building something of your own, please feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to help.
I already shared on the front end, I'm a customer and I can attest firsthand, and that is I have found myself sometimes doing businesses with organizations and you can't find anybody. And what I have found with you is if I've got a question, you're responsive. You give me the answer in a way that I can understand. You're very technically oriented. I'm not. But what you've been able to do for me and for my business is offer the practicality that goes along. And I think that's one thing that I've been impressed about you, and that is what you know about something is far more complex than people would realize. But you make it easy for someone like me to really focus on my core. My core is taking care of clients. I don't really want to spend a lot of my time on these administrative matters, but as any business owner, no, you have to be doing that if you want your business to continue to grow. Shaf, as you reflect on this conversation, what do you want to be the closing thoughts or takeaways?
So kind of in line with what you mentioned in terms of being able to help with practicality. I'm not the most technical person. I don't have a coding background, but what I think my superpower, what I've been able to do well, is translate from super technical jargon and that kind of lingo to what is actually a use case or application of that for the end client or end business owner. And so that's why a lot of what I do now is in kind of the project management or customer facing roles where, I'm going to take these features that have been built and come up with real life applications for the clients that I have on LeadBuddy or wherever it may be.
Gotcha. Before we wrap up, I've got a question for the leaders in the audience, and that is, why do people choose to follow your lead? Is it out of obligation, or do they truly believe in your vision? Leadership thrives on clarity and competence. It's not just about holding authority. It's about creating practical solutions that drive real bottom line results. As an executive coach, I specialize in helping leaders achieve bottom line impact and become inspiring figures who people want to follow. At Bench Builders, we inspire excellence in leadership by providing personalized strategies to harness the Fortune 500 insights that I've been able to gain. We're here to help you achieve significant progress towards your goals. So my challenge to our listeners, lead in a way that draws people to your vision, not because they have to, but because they are inspired to. So visit bench-builders.com to learn more about how we can support your leadership journey. Shaf, your insights, as expected, have been invaluable. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate the time.
Now, Shaf, if listeners want to reach out and field questions for you, how can they best do that?
Yes. So easiest way to reach me would be either through my website, shafqathuq.com, or on LinkedIn. Very easily found there. So
do me a favor, spell out the website name, please.
Right. So that's going to be shafqathuq.com. And the links to all my socials are actually right there at the top of that. So once you go to the website, it's very easy to find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram.
So if you're scrambling for a pen or pencil, don't worry about it. We're going to have that in the show notes, but want to make sure we got that. Shaf, thank you.
Yep. Thank you very much, Mike. Appreciate you having me on here.
I want to also give a big thank you to our subscribers for joining us. And I hope that today's discussion has provided you with some insights that will help you get unstuck and on target. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Get Unstuck and On Target. I hope you've gained insights to help you lead with confidence and drive your organization forward. Remember, at Bench Builders, we're committed to your success, your leadership excellence, and your strategic growth. If you've enjoyed our conversation today, please leave a review, rate, and subscribe to keep up with our latest episodes. This show really grows when listeners like you share it with others. Who do you know who needs to hear what we talked about today? Until next time, I encourage you to stay focused on the target and continue to break new ground on your leadership path.